So Python won't let you run. Python won't let you run a for loop on an integer or integer variable. Depends on what you are trying to do actually. So one way we overcome that problem is if it's a list, for instance. Do you understand?
Mm. Yes.
Are we together?
We are
Um,
together.
can you hear me? If you can't hear me, please can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
All
I
right.
can
So
hear you clearly.
if it's a list of numbers, for instance, what you can do is to run your for loop on the length of the list. You get.
Yes, length of
Now,
the list.
once you run the for loop on the length of the list, now that means you are probably going to run from probably zero to whatever number. So you can do
Yeah.
a length minus one, whatever depends. Then you can use so it's going to run for the length of the list. That means you will get index. Do you understand? So
Yes.
this is what I mean. Let's say you have a list of 5, 10, 15, 20, 35. That's about 5.
Mm.
When it's running your
Mm.
for loop, your loop is going to run 5 times, Abby. So it's going to get
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
what's going to happen is you are going to get the index. So let's say you want to
Okay.
perform some kind of operation on the length of the list. Now, with that index, you can get the let me just demonstrate this to you. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me use Python visualize to do that so that we don't start.
We don't waste time.
Okay, um, okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So network is not too good. Give me a moment. Let's give it a moment. We'll run with that now. Or should I use let me use my idea. Okay. I think my idea will be faster. Yeah. So let me
Okay.
say a list of let me say number list, right?
Mm.
And I can do let's say 20, 45, 67,
Yes.
um, 64, right?
Yes.
If I do for I in num list, hopefully we get an error. I mean, say
Yes.
let me do print
Print high.
I times so.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to
Exactly.
work. So let me do something. Okay. Let me say integer. Let me say num list. Okay. Because integer, so that you just get an integer. Okay. Integer element must be a
Yes.
string. So let me start again.
Exactly.
This is actually working. So I want to get it not to work. So let me say list of numbers. Will that work? Doubt it. 3, 45, 3, 45, 67, 18. Yeah, okay, argument must be a string. So you're trying to convert a
Mm.
range to an integer, right?
Yes.
Happy? Now a range is a list of
Yes.
numbers. I don't want this to work, but it is printing it out. So this is not what I'm trying to target. I want to
It's
get an error
actually
that integer is not iterable. So let me just search for that error online for you. Python so that I can show you so that we can reproduce that error. Once we reproduce the error, okay. Yeah, this error you're getting, integer object is not
I
yeah.
triple something like that. Yeah, integer object is not I triple. Your network have to be poor now.
Sorry, is this the error you're getting?
Integer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I triple. Yeah. It's not I triple.
This error, Abi? Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously, I wanted to reproduce that error, but it's not working. I'm coming. So that we have that problem. I also encounter that problem a lot of times. Okay, so I'm trying to look for something that will produce this error for me. I actually want to get the error, um,
No,
which
actually,
I'm not.
actually, whenever
Okay,
you,
okay, it's okay.
are you hearing me, sir? Are you hearing me, sir?
Yeah,
Hey, whenever you try to print it out like you did earlier,
I'm
it
with you.
actually works. Whenever you try to print it out like you did earlier, it actually works. But when you call the
Okay.
variable, which is in another for loop, that's when it doesn't work.
Oh,
I don't know if you get me.
I don't get you.
I'm like saying the way you did it earlier, like creating a for loop and then printing out
Okay,
the
let me
result,
call
it
the.
actually works. But when you are reusing the variable
Okay.
somewhere else, that's when the error pops up.
For something like, do you mean invalid syntax? Let me
No,
just
not
check.
invalid syntax, just the same error can't be iterable, or you have something like something that has to do with indexing. Let me
Okay,
check.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming. Um, okay, do you mean something like this for high in range, right?
Yes.
Do you mean this?
Yeah,
Okay,
this actually
and I
works at
say
times.
print,
Mm,
Abi?
for in
This is
range
still not the
of
error.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is not the error. It's like saying try to perform an operation
Okay.
while printing.
I can't get you.
Like trying to perform arithmetic operation or whatsoever while printing. Like
Okay.
yeah,
All
using the
right.
range.
Okay. Okay, let's do it this way. Why don't you share your screen and try and reproduce that problem?
Okay, so
All right.
tell me. Okay, why? And if I run, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Mm,
I can see the error.
okay,
Okay, so I'm coming.
I should not share my
All
screen
right.
again.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, I can
Are
see
you
your
seeing my
screen.
screen?
Yes, I can see
Is
your
this the
screen.
error?
Yes, that's the error.
All right. So the best way to do a problem like this is to use the range function. Okay. Now the reason you are why that is not going to work is for you to say for I in 5, for instance, this should work. So if I say print 5, for instance, print I, for instance, you see that we're getting the same problem.
Yes,
You understand?
yes.
You can't
Mm.
iterate over an integer because there's no a range, there's no start or there's no stop point. Do you understand?
Yeah. Kind
Yes,
of.
no. You're not telling to start from a particular point. It's just a number. It has only one value. Do you get?
Yes,
So if I do for
yes.
I
Yeah.
in range of 5, for instance. That's a simple way to
Okay.
explain. And I say print I. So let's say that we get the same problem. Can you see that it is working?
This one is working. Yes.
Yes, because it's a range. So you're telling it automatically it will assume that 5 is the maximum number since you are passing it as
Mm.
the only value.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I do for I in range, okay, of the length. So this is how we solve this kind of problem. The length of the number of my list, right?
Mm.
Okay. And I say I want to sorry. Um okay. Oh sorry, looking out the mistakes again. For I a range of length of non-list, right? I think I shouldn't have a problem. I can say print out non-lists, for instance, and I can do an indexing. Yeah, right. So it should print
Okay.
out everything in my list. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is how you solve this kind of problem. Okay.
Okay. So basically, you're printing
Okay.
out
So
the
since you
index.
have white is now
So basically, you're printing out
yes, you
the
can use
index.
indexing. I can also, yes,
Okay.
because yes, you are getting back the index, then you can use that to slice your or to index your string. For instance, so if I run the same function again and I say for I in range, for instance, of length, what num list and I say just print I, okay, it's just going to print. So you can see that we have 5 items in our list. Have you know?
Okay. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's just going to give you back the index. So what I did there was to grab that index and use it to get each item present. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So any other problems? Any other thing you want to find out, or any other person has any challenge with any idea or with any when we discussed? So trying to buy time for others. Amen. Can I start the class? Hello, Amen.
I thought I sent the quiz now.
Oh, okay. So I can go ahead.
I
Hello,
thought
can you
I
hear me?
started since now. I said the class has started since.
Oh,
You've
oh,
been
sorry.
talking anything.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Django. Okay, so I think I've showed you something about Django before. If not me, my other my colleague, my teammate rather, has showed you 1 or 2 things about Django. So with Django, sorry if you can't hear me again, please try to call my attention. So Django is a web framework that we use in Python for developing websites and all. Okay, so you can develop a full page or a full website with Django actually and Python. But majorly we use Django to handle things like the back end. So when I mean back end, I mean everything that has to do with probably the logic database or anything or getting data from the websites. So for instance, things like login, sign up, upload files, um, make a comment, um, delete a comment, create your own post, create your own tweet, and all of that is handled by the backend. So for the backend, you usually have a database that you work with and a whole lot of logic or a lot of code that you write to handle all sort of operations that goes on the page. Whereas with the front end, we are more concerned with how a user can interact with the page, how well looking the page is, and how easy it is for somebody to understand what's going on your page. So if you are a front end developer, you don't want to create a page and the user is confused. It's like, okay, what's going on? Not necessarily front end. Still say it's all front end from UI um, to writing the front end code. It's all front end. So you usually more concerned with how easy it is for a user to be able to interact with your page, to know where each button leads to an instance, for instance. So that's all. So with Django, we can actually create a full web project. Okay, though for some people they only use it for the back end and probably use some other framework like React, ExpressView, and whatever to undo the front end. Okay, I'll show you a sample Django project now so that you can see. We'll not be creating that, but just be showing you something you can possibly do with Django. Um, if you have the time, yeah. So this is a Django based project. Okay, it's actually present on my system. You can see local host is not hosted on any website. Okay, so you can see the page and all of that. Can you see my screen? No, I'm showing my screen. Can anybody see my screen? All right.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you. So, all right. So you can navigate through pages. If I click on login, you have a login page. If I click on and something like register, let me say a new post. Is that what I saved it as? Yeah. Okay. To log in, you have to log in. So let me just log in and okay. So yeah, log in. Sorry, I've messed up the styling. This doesn't look good, but you get general idea. And I need to edit this, but it's fine. Just for display purposes. Come back to the home page right now. And if I search or click on the search button, I get search results. Okay. Um, I can click here and I'll be able to come to the detail of the post itself. Yeah, and all of that. So you can see this has changed from profile. It's not more login since I already logged in. It's not more a login option. It's now profile. Like I don't have a profile page ready, so it's not going to work. Okay. So basically, the Django a whole lot more strategy that you can do. You can create a whole lot of things. But this is just a simple demonstration. So for this class, we'll be building something else. We'll also be building a simple blog, but it won't be designing it that much as the other. So I can show you the code base and this HTML for one of the pages. This is for the sign up form. Okay. So for instance, you can see username, last name, email, and all of that. And you can see for the login and all of this. Then this is for the CSS. Okay, for the styling and all of that. Then for the home page, we have all of this here. Okay, so we're going. Then this is Python code majorly that handles most of the logic and everything that we're saying. You will notice it's not too long actually. So let's just drive straight into it and create something else. So let me remove this from my workspace. All right, and let me throw this in my bin. Yeah. Okay, so what I can do now is to come here. So I have this environment main variable. I can open my terminal. Okay, all right, I can open my terminal. Let me just share my screen, split my screen. Yeah. All right. So I can open my terminal right now and just okay. So I can say Python. Sorry. So let me first down to this to try and install Django if I don't have Django installed. But I have Django installed. So yeah. So it's telling me requirement is already satisfied. Okay, it's telling me to upgrade my my PIP, but I will do that much later on. Okay, so I can just start up and say Django admin. Since I have Django in my project, I can just say start project. Okay, and I can just call this class blog. Okay, all right. So if I click on ls, you can now see that I have a folder called class blog in here. If I open my file folder, you can see that class blog has actually been created. If I come in, you can see that I have a file called manage.py, and I have other things in here. Okay. Now I can navigate in here. I can navigate in here and say cd into class blog. I say ls. Yeah, I'm in here, so I can say same field. So let me just say start app. Changes to start app, and let's say pass. Okay, and let's say blog. Oh, and let's see. Let me keep it to something. Let me just call it let me see Bincom. Or let me just say blog. Okay, and just start there. So yeah, so you can see that another folder here has been created called blog, and I have other things inside like init, admin, apps, models, test, and views. Okay, so I can shift straight up to my let me remove this guy too. Yeah, I can shift up to VS Code and try to open up this project. Okay, yeah, yeah, I trust the folder. And, uh, okay, so any questions so far regarding this? Any questions? 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 Any question? All right. So yeah. So for now, so from now it's what I'll mostly be using um VS Code to run my commands and everything I'll be doing. Okay. So the first thing I want to do now is to come to my settings. So let's look at the settings together. So we have debug through, which shows that this site is not in production. So if, for instance, a simple example to note is if let me just okay, this is not running, so it won't work. But I will show you something. But debug when debug is true, it means that if you get an error, for instance, maybe you click on an invalid page. Now, rather than it returning the standard 404 error page not found that you get from the internet most times, remember when we were talking about error codes and all of that? What will happen is you will actually it will actually return the error you're facing or the source of the problem on your debug on your web browser, so you'll be able to know what's going on. I would show you that as once we start running the um the app. Okay, so mostly when you're in production, you don't want the bug not to be on. Now we have installed app. So what we want to do now is to add that application that we just created in here my settings. Okay, so that Python we or Django we know that okay we've created an app and the name is blog. Okay, we have other things. Then another thing I want to add for now. Okay, I think we're good. Now I can come here. Let me open a new terminal and yeah, so I can just say Python manage.py. So let me make migrations. Migrations is going to just save all of that. And I can say Python. So right now it's going to take effect all the changes or all the tables that have been created. There are some default tables that are created immediately you are running Django, for instance. So you have initial, whatever, whatever. The another thing you should know is the database we are using. And if you notice in the comments here, there are links to the documentation. So we'll be referring to the documentation a lot also, okay, to solve whatever problem we might be facing. But if you notice for this database, we are using SQLite. SQLite. You can always change this to whatever you want. Okay, it can be Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, whatever. So, but we'll just leave the default database right now. So, if I run, let me run the code. So, to run the app, you just run Python py and you say run server, and this should come up. Now, I can copy this link. Okay. Um, yeah. So it's gonna open here. Yeah, so you can see your install worked successfully. Congratulations. And as it's telling me that you're seeing this page because the bug is true. Okay. And if I do something like this, let me just do something. And you see that I'm getting this kind of error. Now, if the bug was not true, we probably will not have this error this way. So let me show you what I mean. If I come here, let's go up and let me remove the bug as equal to true. So let me make it false. And I come here. We're going to get a different looking error. Yeah, can you see that? Refuse to connect. Okay, so that's the difference with having the bug as true and the bug as false. Okay, so if I come back here, it's just going to run differently. And we are good. Okay. Any questions so far? Questions so far? Okay, no question. I'm assuming no question. All right. So yeah. So okay. So if I run this again, I should get this error. So let me just run go back to my default page and let's have a look at the documentation. Okay. So you can see this is the first page you actually encounter when you have so you can see Django documentation, you go to documentation tutorial, a pulling app. So you can follow this tutorial actually on the the browser, on their documentation rather, and you'll be able to build something. But let's just go ahead and click on the documentation and getting help. So it's always nice that you can interact with the documentation. Okay, it's always good that you can go through it, read it, and solve whatever problem or challenges you are having. So if you click on get started, yeah, you can see a short tutorial part 1 to 7, um, first Django app. Okay, and you can just carry on. Okay, so let's do something exciting. All right, so let me come here. Okay, and the next thing I want to do now, in here, I want to create a file, and I'm going to call it urls.py. URL, sorry, I need to rename urls.py. Right. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to create all the links to all my pages here. Okay, but the first thing I want to do is to come to this URLs that is attached to the settings file. So this is more like the root. Okay, and I'm going to add something here to include right, and I'm going to say path. Um, I don't want this to map to any place, and I will say include. Okay, then I have a file called blog.urls. Okay, and you can see there's a sample here. If you look at the commenting, where are you? Yeah, so I need to add my conditions. Okay, and I think we are fine. So another thing to notice, you can actually do all your URLs here. Actually, you can see all of that, but I just like to do it this way. I think it's neater, but it's up to you. You can always do all of this in this place rather than creating another urls.py file. It doesn't matter, but I just like to do it this way. Okay, let me just copy this style and I just let me just let's see this. So let me come to my URLs here. I copy all of this. Yeah. So let me just remove this guy. Okay, and I can just yeah, let's just leave this empty. So let's come to my views and I want to import something here. I say from Django. put HTTP import HTTP response. So let me just define an home page, and say requests so, and I can just say I want to return, and I just want to say let me just give this an heading one, sorry, I say hello, and I can just say H2. All right, sorry, that should be in the quotation. Right. And I think we are good. If sorry, I'm getting an error. Okay, I should have a comma. Okay, what is it? Missing one important argument. Okay, we're getting this error from this one, right? So next thing I have to do is now from dot import views. Now. So basically, what this means is I want to import something called views from this path. Okay, so this dot means that in this current directory, in this current block directory, I want to import a folder called views. Okay, now I can just say views, for instance. There's no other way, many ways to do this, but I like this particular on the home page, right? And I can just give it a name and say home, for instance. Now, I'm not putting anything here because I want this to be like the home page, okay? So once you open the page, this is the first thing that will happen. Now, if I come here and I refresh this, okay? And I refresh my browser, let's see if we don't get an error. No, okay, it's not working. Okay, let me refresh. All right, so you can see, hello, this is my first app, okay? Which is basically what we just displayed in here. Sorry, I have to remove this. So, yeah. So this is basically what we wrote here. So this is how we can write as many pages as possible. So I can define something called an about page, for instance. About page, let's say request, and I can just copy this, and I can just say, this is my about page. Okay. I can come to my URLs and simply just come here, say path, opening brackets. Now, at this point, I'm going to have something called about here because they can't share the same URL or the same route, and I can say about page, say name, I can just give this about, right? Now, if I come here and I say slash about, for instance, now you can see, hello, this is my about page. Now you can notice that right here I have this directory slash about, just the way we have it in normal web pages. So if I come here now, you can see djangoproject.com slash. So quite similar to having this. So just like that, we already have content present in our website. Okay. Now the next thing we can now do is to start creating stuffs or creating whatever I want to do. So any questions so far? Is there anything confusing so far before I go ahead to something else?
Eh? No? Oh, yeah.
Ooh la la.
Any question?
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
You
If you
understand
can't, your
Yoruba
mic is on. You can
very
use the chat
well.
box. Is there any? Is there any question? Anything
Me,
confusing
I
so far?
understand Yoruba very well.
Hello. Anything confusing so far? Can I get responses in the chat box? Just final question. Emmanuel. Emmanuel, any question? Usman. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for your response. So, okay. So the next thing I want to do now is so let's move up ahead. Let's try and have content. Actually, let's make use of our database to develop content. So we are creating a post, right, or a blog site, or for our class, our beginners class. Okay, and we want people to be able to maybe just write one or two things or a few experiences about this class. Okay, and so what we can do now, let's come to our models. Now, if you remember from object-oriented programming class, we talked about classes and objects, right? Attributes and methods and all of that. Now we're going to create a class, and that class is going to we're going to be able to use it to build more like a template or a blueprint for what we want our blog post or what we want each blog post to have. Okay, so I can say class, I can say post. All right. Now I'm going to say models dot model. Okay, this can be something else. Okay, but you have to check the Django documentation. Okay, I think I have something in here. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's within small letters. All right. So models and model. So this is more life. Okay. If I don't know if you were taught in that class, but there's something called class inheritance, where you inherit properties from a parent class, yeah, which is what we're doing here. But the general idea is Django already has something called models that has more like of a structure. Okay, and we are just going to be inheriting that structure in our own class, right? If not, we'll have to do a lot of logic from the start to interact with the system. But for now, what we can do is to just say class post models and model, and we are going to now decide, okay, what are the attributes we want a class to have or a post to have. So the first thing is that you want a title, right? Now, so let's come to the documentation. um right, so I can come here and say models, right? Models and right, model field reference. Okay, okay, and I can introduction material click on models. All right, so you can see model. Model is a single definitive source of information. It contains the essential fields and behaviors of data you are storing. Okay, now each model is a Python class of that subclasses this. Okay, so we can just click on this and see this is a subclass, so it is inheriting from the parent class, right? And you can see all of the function and all of that. But we are not going deep into something like this. We'll just be doing something very simple. Okay. So basically, you can see how they created a simple model here, something like a first name, a last name, and first name are fields of the model. Each field is specified as an attribute. Now, why are we doing this? Because we can save this class, use it to build a person, because a class is a person, and we expect each person to have a first name and a last name, right? So with this, we can build a person and say this person has a first name and last name, and we can save this person to the database. Once this person is saved to the database, we can get that information from our database and display it on our website. Is that confusing or is understandable? Is it straightforward? Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. All right. So we want to create a person, right? And want to be able to have that person on our database. All right. Thank you for the response. So let's just create our own post. So now we expect that a post will have something like a title. Okay. Now we can just say models. Now, Django has several model fields. Now, when I mean model fields, what kind of data are you expecting? Now, for a title, we don't want a text field. When I mean, now you can see auto field, average, base, whatever, and that. Now, you have a character field. If I click on character field, if I hover around this, for instance, we are expecting maybe not so many words, right? So we can say, so it's already asking me for a max length attribute. So a title should not be too long. So I can just say 200 words, right? Yeah, 200 words is fine. Now I can define another thing and say a description. Description too can also be a models dot character field, right? And then say max length. Let's make the description a bit longer. Let's say 300 words. Yeah. Now I can have a content. Okay. I can say models. But, now we can use a text field because we're expecting probably something a whole lot longer. We don't need to pass in whether we want a max length of 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 or whatsoever. Okay. What else can we do? We can want an author. Okay, and we can just say are we going to, okay, we're not going to have a user model, so we can just say models dot um, what character field. I just use that for now and just display a name. But in a real sense, actually, our author should be somebody that is a user on this site. Okay, I don't think we might get that far as doing a login and authentication. But in general, what you want to do is to have something like a foreign key where the author would be the user. So once the person is logged in and he creates a post, automatically this gets filled in that okay, this user is the creator of this post. So you wouldn't have to start typing in your name or whatsoever. But just for this simple example, let's just do it this way. Okay. What else do we want? We can say date created. Let me just say date created. I can say models dot date time, date time field, and I say auto personal hard and true. What this is going to do is it's just going to take in the current time and is going to add it in. Let's also have something like an image, okay, for each post. I can say models dot image field, okay, and I can just say kind of thing. I want to upload this file somewhere, so I can just say upload to media file. Let me see blog pictures, blog pictures. Yeah, blog pictures. Okay, I think we are good. One thing I want to do now is come to my settings so that I can undo images properly. So it's not anything difficult actually. So let me just import OS here. Import OS here. Okay, and I can just come here and see media URL. Media URL, or let's say media, okay, capital letter. Media URL. Okay, and I can just say media. Okay, and that's media. All right, and I can do something like let me just copy that from somewhere. I have that already somewhere. Managing media files. Okay. Yeah, media the URL. So let me just copy this guy. Okay, and let me just yeah, and do all of this and copy him right here. Okay, and I can simply come here, settings, debug, media routes, copy all of this and come to my. So basically, what I'm doing is I want Django to be able to find my URLs or my files. Okay, so it's from Django configuration for settings. Yeah, settings, yeah. So basically, what it's going to do, if settings is debug, I want to say these URL patterns plus static settings, the media URL, document root. So it's basically going to be able to check for my media files or my static files from these directories. Okay, so that I can easily find them wherever they are. I'm getting an error, line 23 settings. Media is not defined. Name, line 123. I didn't have, that's not capital letter. Yeah, I don't know. The static is not defined. Okay, I've not created the static directory. Okay, I have. Yes, I have static files. Next media, blah, blah, blah. Okay, okay, oh, so I need to import something else too. Okay. And so actually, all of this is in the Django documentation. Okay, let me just show you um, for clarity's sake. I just checked for that because I can just easily copy what I need from there. Okay, manage static files. So there's already an help here. Okay, you can see static files directory. Something similar, settings of static document or static code. So what we just did before. Okay, this is what we just did. So basically, we copied all of this. So we did if settings equals to debug. You can just actually have this here. Okay, and or better still, let me do it this way actually. So let me not have an if statement. Let me not have an if statement. Let me just copy. Yeah, I have plus here. And I can easily copy the imports here. Yeah, what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, I think we are good to go. Okay, yeah, we are good to go. So the next thing I want to do now is to create a super user, somebody that will be able to access the database and create whatever we need. Okay. Right. So if there are any questions, please you can always draw my attention back. Okay. Now, I want to create a super user is actually very simple with Django. I can just say Python manage.py create super user. All right. For this class, I'm just going to leave it as user, email address, and empty password. Let me just use something very simple. It's going to throw an error. So it's telling me password is too common and it's too numeric. Password is whatever. Don't be like me actually. Use a proper password, but just for the sake of this class, I'm going to ignore this and I'm going to have this validation done. Okay. So we've created a super user. Okay. Now let me say Python. Let's run our app manage.py run server. Okay. So we have our app running. So let's come back to our page. Yeah, you're working. So let me just do admin. Okay. And okay. So let me just say user and all right. Now, so we have this is how our database structure looks like. So we have users. We only have one person user that we just created. We don't have a first name for the person and all of that. But if you notice, we created a class, we created a table, and all of those things are not reflecting, right? Okay, that's because we didn't run our migrations. Django does not know we have created changes, right? So this is what we need to do. First thing to do is to do a Python manage.py make migrations. So we need to effect our changes. Now it is telling me that it has created model. So it is saying now, for instance, we just created a model named post. Now I can now say Python manage.py then migrate. So all our changes will be effected. So all those tables would be created. So if we run our server again, let's see whether this is going to display. If I run this right now, so we still don't have that displaying. So this the reason why is because our admin page has not rendered it. Okay. So what we need to do is very simple actually. We have an admin file. This is the admin file, and we just need to register our models here and say, okay, we have a models. So models import and post. Yeah. So we can just say admin dot site dot register, and we just have in our post here. All right, there are other things you can do here, like how you want it to be displayed, but we don't need to cover that for this lesson. And once I refresh, now you can now see that I have something called post here from this place. So if I click on post, Now I have zero posts. I can easily create a post here and just say, okay, my experience, the Bincom beginners beginners class, right? And I can say, tutor tutor was a bit boring. The let me just have Lauren content here. So let me just grab Lauren content online. Let's do that so that you can easily display that. And okay, Lauren generator. So let me say auto wisdom. Right. Let me just choose a file from my system for profile picture and download. Let me just use this guy. Um, taking so long to. Uh, let me just check. Okay. Um, quickly. Lauren, let me just copy that from somewhere. It's loading. Sorry. It's not my friend today. Okay, so let me just leave it. We can come and edit that data because okay. So let me just copy this guy. Because, and create this one. So yeah, so that we just have a longer post time. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So if I see, hopefully it works fine. Yeah. So we have post of objects and all of that. Um, okay. So let's create another post actually. Let me see. Um, okay. My experience with Django. Okay, and Django was a bit interesting. Okay, check the auto. Let me see. Let's see. Screen. Yeah, and create a file and yeah, just use any picture. Yeah, I think we're good. Let me create one more. Income assignment. Okay, we faced quite a few challenges. Quite a few challenges, right? And let's say a couple of yeah, say this one just have yeah, I think we are hopefully these pictures I'm selecting are okay, sharp. Okay, and save. Yeah. So we have three posts. Okay. We can also do something to make this look okay look a lot much better. All right, so I can do something here. Hopefully, I remember my models. I can see fine and str. Okay, so let me just so I want to return something else. Post the title, and so let's see what happens once we do that. Is okay, post the title. I don't want this to look like this. Post. Okay. title. Save the title. Alright. Okay, yeah, save the title. So you have Bincom and summary my experience with Django so that we don't just have blog post one, blog post two, blog post three. So it looks something like this. Alright, so far, is there any question? Sorry, so far, is there any question? Is there any problem? Or I move too fast? Hello? Hello? Okay, no questions. Any other person? Okay, Mr. Michael says it's also fine. All right. So I'm assuming we're all okay with the pace so far. All right. So we already have content in our database. Okay. So let's see how we can display some of these things. All right. So let me come to my views. So let me change what I have on my own page. All right, so I want to say post for instance. Let's create a table, a variable called post. Now let me import my models to from. I need to stop this from running. So stop this and from the models. Okay, import post. All right. Now I want to say post. I want to say post. Okay. Now I want to get every item I have there. I can say objects. Okay. So post is a class, and we have created three objects, right? Then I can say dot all. Okay, and I can just have that here, and I can create something called a context or a context and as a dictionary, or okay, let me just make things easier. I can just say return the request um, and just create a dictionary, but post, and we'll just say post. So this is not going to work this way. So I can easily just create. Okay, let me just have localhost running 8,000 on my browser. Okay, sorry, I have not run my server. All right. Okay, so it should work fine now. All right, so you can see it's not displaying anything. Okay. So what I want to do now is to use it. I purposely did it so that I can use a templating system. So we are going to create something called templates. Now templates will involve or will have our HTML file, okay, that we'll be using to work with our code. Let me create a new folder inside so I can say blog, right? So that we know that only HTML file is relating to the blog page itself or to the blog content itself is here. And I can call this home.html, okay? And I can just do something like um okay. So basically the idea is on Python using for loops. I can say for post, right? In post, okay. I want to display post dot title. To display post dot description, and I want to say post dot image, right? Dot URL, okay. And let me just end the post. And let me just say end form. All right. So and I'll come back to my views and tell Django that okay, I want to get my HTML file, okay, from the sorry, so blog slash home dot html. Okay, I think we're good, and I should be able to view this now. Should be able to view this now. We'll come down here. So let me just say localhost 1000. All right, so you can see it is giving me my image URL and all of that. Say okay. So if I on my HTML to remove this URL, obviously it should run. Hopefully, it should. Okay. All right, so it's just giving me the URL to that image. Okay, so it's not displaying. So we'll work on having that display now. Okay, what I need to do right here is to have an image tag with CSS actually, with HTML, and paste it in here. So I can see dot URL. So you should render that now. All right, so you can see the image. It's too big. So but once it's styled, it's going to look a lot much better. Okay, but so far you can see that we have at the top we have my experience as a Bincom class. The tutorial is quite boring, and we have income assignment, few challenges, and whatsoever. So this looks bad, right? So what we can do now is to make use of something called Bootstrap. Has anybody worked with Bootstrap before, or do we know what Bootstrap is?